All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to class. Welcome to another wonderful session. Great to see you again in class. I hope you had a great weekend. If you did, let me know in the chats. Am I audible? Today, I'm using a new recording system, so I want to know if I'm audible. How are you doing? Okay. How are you all doing? Let me see something in the chat. Okay, I can see Paul, Valentine, Lucretia, Evans, thank you all, and welcome. Welcome to another wonderful session. Today is another great day. Today we are going to have another class. We are going to add to our knowledge. We are going to make progress. I'm seeing new names today. Bola Tito. I don't think I've heard Bola Tito in the previous classes, but welcome, Bola. Bola Tito, where are you from? Let us know where you are from. I can see Brighton. I can see Patrick. I think Patrick, we had a few last week. Portia, I think Portia too from last week. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this wonderful class. This is a great class, and we are here to develop our skills in Python programming to prepare for our tech careers. This course is a launch pad to your tech career in future. And so what you are learning here is going to prepare you for advancement in data analytics or data science and machine learning, for cloud, for DevOps, for cybersecurity, for software engineering. This is a class that will help you get into the future. If you are working on your full stack web development career and you want to build the right foundation. Today, technology is advancing so rapidly. New things are being introduced today, and we need to have the right knowledge to operate at the cutting edge. Here at Rate Africa, we believe in operating with modern technology, modern knowledge, and all that is trending in terms of the skills in the industry and the tools that we need to know, the knowledge we need to have. And after this training, you can operate anywhere in the world because you are getting the right skills, the right training that you need. This course is designed for absolute beginners. And so if you have no knowledge in Python programming, this is a course for you. Make sure you follow it carefully. Make sure you understand what we are teaching. Try and follow the concepts and try and understand it. If you already understand programming, use this as a revision to help you solidify your understanding. And so let's all go through this course gradually and let us participate in everything and every part of this course so that we build real understanding. All right, so let's do a quick recap of what we studied in our previous lesson. So last week, we learned how to use conditionals to control the flow of a Python program. We learned yesterday or last in our previous lesson that Python programs follow a linear flow. This means that if there is no conditional logic, your program will read from top to bottom, from line to line, from the top to the bottom. But in the real world, programs need to have some level of intelligence. Programs need to be able to make decisions. And so we use conditional logic or conditional statements to control the flow of our program. And this is where computer intelligence began from. This is where artificial intelligence began from. And this is where you start learning how to write programs that can make decisions based on input. And as we progress, we are going to understand that decisions are sometimes not just straightforward. It is not all the time that if it is not A, then it is B, or if it is not left, then it is right. Sometimes it is right, but after right, you need to go back to left. and then go back to right, because conditions can be very, very complex. All right. The fact that you are not a Ghanaian, I am a Ghanaian. The fact that you are not a Ghanaian does not mean that you are not an African. All right. So if we ask a question whether you are a Ghanaian and your answer is no, it doesn't automatically mean that you are not an African. You are still an African, but you are not a Ghanaian. Maybe you are from South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Togo, Zimbabwe, Uganda, Angola, Liberia. Maybe you are from another country. And so sometimes decisions can be so complex, all right? Yes, and for me personally, I think Africa is one. I think I see Africans as my brothers, my sisters. If you are an African from any part of Africa, I see you as my brother, I see you as my sister. And for me, we are one, we are family. All right. So as we get into conditional logic and making decisions in our program, we learn that without using these intelligent conditionals, we cannot make our programs intelligent. So for example, we use an if statement, and we use an if statement to create something we call Boolean logic. And we learned this last week, that a Boolean logic evaluates to true or false. And this is what we use whenever we are learning to create intelligent programs. And so when you use an if, what you need to do is to follow the features of the if statements, to follow the syntax of Python programming. And so you need to begin with an if keyword. You type if, and then you type your condition. And this condition should be a Boolean expression. If you don't understand a Boolean expression, please refer to the previous lesson to understand all about Boolean expression. A Boolean expression is any expression that results in a Boolean value, and a Boolean value is true or false. All right. In Python, you are supposed to indicate your colon. You are supposed to introduce an indentation. Please type indentation in the chat for me. If I am audible, please type indentation in the chat for me. And then, thank you, Thandi. If the condition is true, the code block you put under the if will be executed. So over here, we see that code to be executed if the condition is true. So this is where your code will be. Now the code can be anything. Whatever operation you want to run, that is where you put it. So it is placed right under the if. Now we studied that the code we place under the if is the intelligence operation that should be performed if the condition is true. So we try an example here. If you are 17 years, and we create a Boolean logic here. This Boolean logic here is an expression that says that age is greater than or equal to 18. This is what we call the Boolean expression. And that Boolean expression is the condition. So remember, we have the if is outside the condition, and the condition is saying as a statement that age is greater than or equal to 18. So the question is it true or false? What do you think? Do you think this is true or false? The statement is saying that age is greater than or equal to 18. So Bernardine says it's false, because age has already been given, and age is equal to 17. In Python, if you want to write false, use capital F. If you want to write true, use capital T. That is the syntax of Python programming, and that is the syntax of Boolean values in Python. All right, so all that we are saying right now is simply how we use the if statement in Python. We write if, and then we write a condition. The condition can be a simple expression or a complex expression. The only thing is that it should evaluate to either true or false. Now we did our own evaluation and we realized that this is false. Now, if it is false, then what is going to happen is that the code here, which is saying print you are eligible to vote, is not going to be executed. Why is it not going to be executed? Why is this code block not going to be executed? And I want to get one person who understands why. It says you are eligible to vote. Now we are saying that this code block is not going to be executed. Who can tell us why it is not going to be executed? And so if you think you know the answer, just raise your hand. I'm going to call you. When I call you, you tell me why this code is not going to be executed. All right. So for me, I remember how it was when I was learning Python as a beginner. And I remember how things look like. You know, if you are advanced already, some things you see them so simple, so easy, but if you're a beginner, you see things in a different way. All right, so let me allow Talent, try unmuting. If you can unmute, Talent, try unmuting, and tell us why this code is not going to be executed. Tell us. So once you're mute, tell us where you are calling from. Talent, try unmuting. Let's see if it's going to work for you. And okay. All right. Okay. So the data scientists are already telling us why. All right. So let's try Brighton. Brighton, try unmuting. Maybe Talent is not able to unmute. Brighton, try unmuting, and let's see if it's going to work. Tell us your name and where you are calling from.
I say Darlington, my name is Brighton. I'm from Zimbabwe. Yeah. So today I'm going to be participating a bit more because I sort of missed the lesson on Thursday. So okay. Forgive my incorrect answers. I'm just trying to be part of the lesson a bit more. I think the code will not execute because there is no exception handler. There is no definition of what happens if the Boolean expression is false. So okay. Maybe it's a syntax error.
All right, so thank you. And you are using some senior terms, so I feel you know a lot. Let me call someone else to also tell us their view, their opinion. So I can see Bola Tito. Please unmute. Tell us where you are calling from. Tell us why this code is not going to be executed.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Darlington. My name is Bola Tito. I'm from Nigeria. Can you hear me? Am I audible enough?
Yes, can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I'm calling from Nigeria. So the reason why I think this code will not execute is because the variable we specified from the beginning is 17, and here we're saying greater than or equal to 18. So it's way above what we specified from the very beginning when we defined age.
All right. That's wonderful. That is true. And it is not going to be executed because this code block is under the if statement. And any code under the if statement will only execute if the Boolean expression is true. In this case, the Boolean expression, is it true or false? Bola Tito, is it true or false? The expression
is false.
Is false. That's it. That's all I want to hear. Because the expression is false, this code block is not going to be executed because this code block only executes if the expression is true. Now, if the code is not going to be executed, then it is going to move to the else block. All right. So if you have an else block, then the else block will now be tested to see if that will work or not. Sometimes the else would also not work. And so we may check if we have an elif, and if the elif works, then the elif will be executed. If the elif doesn't work, then the else will be checked. So let me give a full example here. Let me give a full example here that will show all that we will look at before we decide whether it is true or false. All right, so I'm going to add one more slide to the recap, and then we'll move on. And I'm gonna add one example. All right, so let's try this example, and we will check it. Okay, so let me share this again. All right. Okay, so I'm going to share this again. All right, so this is what we just looked at, and we said this expression is false, and so this is not going to be executed. If we test this right now, it is not going to be executed just because the expression evaluates to false. If I take you to my coding program right now, if I go to PyCharm right now, let me share that. And in PyCharm, if we try this code, it says age is equal to 17. So if I go to PyCharm, let me clear what we have here and say age is equal to 17. And then we say if age is greater than or equal to 18, print you are eligible to vote. All right, so let's run this and see if it is going to run. And if you check here, it didn't run. That is all we are saying. So the computer has processed this code and it didn't run because the expression here is false. Now let's change this expression and make it true. Let's say greater than or equal to 17. Now it is true. Let's run it again and you'll see that now it worked because the expression is true. So all that we are saying is that the code block we place here only works if this Boolean expression is true. That's all we are saying. All right, let's try another example. Sometimes we have multiple conditions, and if we run an if condition and the if condition is true, the code block under the if will be executed. But sometimes it is not true. If it is not true, it will move on to an elif condition to test if the elif condition is true. If the elif condition is true, then the code block under the elif will be executed. Sometimes we have multiple elifs. If this second one is not true, it will go and check the third one to see if it is true. If that is also not true, then it will move on to the else and executes the else. And the else means the code is false. If I move on to PyCharm again and change this back to 18, when we run this, you'll see that it's not going to be executed. But if we place an else here, else means if this is not executed, let the else be executed. That means the else is false. So this means you are not eligible to vote. All right. So when I run this, we are going to see you are not eligible to vote. And what we are saying here is that in the real world, we don't have true or false all the time. The fact that something is false does not mean, or the fact that something is not true does not mean it is false. For example, if you are not a Ghanaian, does not mean you are not an African. All right. So if we are testing for African, and if Ghanaian is false, does not mean that you are not an African. All right. And so sometimes we do what we call the elif. And another example here is to use a score. And we are testing for anyone who got above 90. And this student got 75. And the fact that you got 75 and you didn't get 90 does not mean you have failed. And so if 75 didn't pass the 90 tests and you didn't get an A, it doesn't mean you have failed. We can do an ELIF to test again for something else for 80. Even if 80 doesn't work, we can test again for above 70, and probably this is going to work. And then the else is also going to be there. So what this means is that the fact that the student didn't get 75 does not mean they got a grade F. And so in your Python program, what you can do is that you can write several conditions to test before you execute the else block. And whichever one is true is what will be executed. So if the 80 becomes true, this is what will be executed and all the rest will be ignored. And all we are saying here is that we are just testing for conditions to control the flow of our program. This means that instead of our code just running from nest to nest, it can test for a condition and run the code based on the truth of that condition. And so this will lead us to today's lesson. And a quick quote here says that study hard and you can achieve almost anything. So all that you are working towards, if you study hard, you are going to make it. The reason you are not there now is because you are a beginner and you need a lot of training. You need to learn a lot to be able to get the right understanding. But as you keep on studying, you are going to become a professional and move on to become an expert. And it is said that the expert at anything was once a beginner. And so the fact that you are new to data analytics or data science or cloud computing does not mean that you are not going to get there. If you study hard, you can achieve it. If you keep on learning, you will get there. In a few months to come, you realize that you're a different person. So let's keep on learning, let's keep on studying, and we will get there. All right. So today's lesson is going to take us to the next level. And this time we are going to combine conditions to make decisions. We are going to combine conditions to make decisions. And the decisions we are going to be making today will be based on multiple conditions using what we call logical operators. So please put logical operators in the chat for me. Logical operators. In our previous lesson, we studied about operators and we talked about assignment operators. We talked about comparison operators. And we talked about one other type of operators. I don't know who can remember the type of operators we studied in our previous lesson. If you remember, just put it in the chat for me. I've already given you two: comparison operators, assignment operators. What did we learn in our previous lesson when we were covering operators? And Mike says we learned about arithmetic operators. Thank you, Nigel. Arithmetic operators, and we have seen that. In this lesson, we are going to learn about a new type of operators we call logical operators. And as we study about logical operators, we can use them to combine conditions. We can use them to combine conditions. And all that we are learning are building the foundations for Python programming. All right. Now, creating a conditional statement is one of the easiest concepts in Python. Knowing how to use the if statements and the elif and the else is one of the easiest concepts in Python to understand. And like we mentioned, you just need to understand how they work and try some examples and be able to solidify your understanding. All right, so to talk about logical operators, we are going to learn that they are used to combine conditional statements, and they all return Boolean values. we studied that the Boolean expressions return true or false, and the code under them will execute if the code is true. And if the code is not true, it will move on to an elif to see if the elif is true. If the elif is not true and there are multiple elifs, all of them will be checked. And if none of them is true, then the else will be executed. So the else always executes if all of them are false. Sometimes we combine conditions before we make a decision. Let me give you an example. We may have condition 1 and we may have condition 2. And both of them need to be combined before we can make a final decision whether it is true or it is false. And we do that using what we call a logical operator. All right, so we are going to see the logical operators we have, and we are going to see how they can combine two conditions to give us true or false. Before we get there, let me just give one example. Sometimes condition 1 is true, and sometimes condition 2 is false. But based on the logical operator, we are going to decide that after combining the two, should we agree on a true or should we agree on a false? So let's say there are two people who are supposed to sign on a particular bank account before there can be a withdrawal. Now, let's assume the first signatory is condition 1 and the first signatory is available. And so let's give the first signatory true. By condition 2, the second signatory is not available. But the mandate on the bank account says that both need to sign. Now, if we take condition 1 true, condition 2 false, and we put them together, what is going to be the final output? Is it going to be true or false? Based on the mandate on the bank account. So Benedine says it is false. What about you? What do you think? Should the bank take that as true or false? One of them is not available. And so should we accept it as true or we should accept it as false? What do you think? Benedine says it is false. Okay, so we have Cantongole. Cantongole says it is false. Paul says it is false. Innocent says it is false. All right. So now we are not saying that condition 1 is false. Condition 1 may be true, but because condition 2 is false and the logical operator we are using says that both of them need to be true before we agree, because of that, we are going to accept the final condition as false, and then we'll make our decision based on the results. So this enables you to create more complex decision-making structures in Python. So for example, if we have a condition, we know that the code to be executed if the condition is true is just placed right here. And this is a Boolean expression, all right? And then we have a complex condition here. We have condition 1, and then the logical operator, and then condition 2. When you join both of them, are we going to get true or false? That's what we are talking about right now. And if both of them evaluates to true, then the code under them will be executed. If both of them evaluates to false, then the code under them will be executed. So let's try some more examples. All right. So the commonly used logical operators in Python, we have AND, we have OR, and we have NOT. These are the 3 commonly used logical operators in Python that you study as a beginner. So please type AND, OR, and NOT. The same way it is written here on my screen, please type the same for me. All right, so what we are going to study tonight will make use of these 3 operators. So the AND you are seeing here is not the same as an English word AND. It is an operator in Python and it has meaning. The OR is also an operator and it has meaning. The NOT is also an operator and it also has meaning. So we are going to study these 3 and know how to use them. Let's begin with the AND logical operator. So this is called the AND logical operator. And the AND logical operator, this is how it works. The AND operator combines two conditions, and the resulting compound condition is true only if both conditions are true. What this means is that anytime you use the AND operator to compare two conditions, both of them need to be true before the result will be true or before the result can be true. For example, we have condition 1 and condition 2. If condition 1 is false and condition 2 is true, the result is going to be false because we are using the AND logical operator. Let me explain it this way. We have something we call the truth table or the logic table. Please type truth table in the chat for me. Please type the truth table. Now, this truth table, we are using it to check the AND logical operator. All right. So here I called it the AND logic table. We are not testing the OR, we are testing the AND. And this is how the AND works. If condition 1 is true and condition 2 is true, what is going to be the final answer? Tell me in the chat, what is going to be the final answer? All right, so if you can give me the right answer, then what it means is that you understand this operator. And this operator, we write it in lowercase, so I'm changing my code and I'm making it lowercase for you to see. All right, so true and true becomes true. This is all you need to understand, okay? If condition 1 is true, now you know that condition 1 is an expression. So don't see condition 1 as always going to be written as true. The condition 1 is a Boolean expression and it needs to be evaluated, and then the result is going to be either true or false. Remember, a Boolean expression will evaluate to true or false. Then we use the AND and then we test another condition. If both of them are true, then the final or the compound condition becomes true. What if condition 1 is true and condition 2 is false? What is going to be the answer? If you understand this, then it means you understand the AND logical operator. And please remember, we are not yet talking about the OR logical operator. We are talking about the AND logical operator, and the two are different. You need to understand how they work to know how to use them. As a developer, you will use them, and so you need to know when and how to use them. All right, so we have true and false. The answer becomes false because this operator only accepts that both of them need to be true. This operator does not allow a lie in its statements. The fact that one is true and one is false makes all of them false. We only have true when both of them are true. All right, so we have condition 1 is false, condition 2 is true. What do you think the answer will be? All right, so Anesu says it is going to be, okay, so false. If you understand this truth table, then you understand the AND logical operator. I'm going to give one last example. If we have false and false, what is going to be the answer? False and false, what is going to be the answer? So 2 lies, it does not make it true. If it is false, then it's definitely false. I like the AND logical operator so much because it doesn't entertain any lie. Whether one is true, and the fact that one is false makes all of them false. And if both of them are false, it is false. All right, I like that. Now let's look at let's try an example and see if this is going to work. So this example here, we are going to determine voter eligibility based on age and citizenship status. So age is 17, and then citizenship status is true. All right, so let me change it from yes to true. Let me change it from yes to true. So let's make this true like this. All right, so we have age is 17 and citizenship is true. All right, let's try this and see. If you write a Python program, this is what you are going to say. All right, This is what you are going to say. Now I'll show you how to write this in a real Python program. So it says that if age is greater than or equal to 18, and then you see how we use the AND logical operator. All right, so this is what you could have written. We'll try that in Python and see. We'll try that in Python, in PyCharm and see. So remember how to use the equal to. Last time we looked at the equal to, and we said that to use the equal to, this is how we use the equal to. And we said a single equal sign is not the same as equal to. This is how we write equal to in Python. And then we said a single equal sign is referred to as what? Who can tell me what a single equal sign means in Python? The single equal sign, how do we pronounce it in Python? It's called a sign. All right, so Zeth was in class. Okay, Canton Gole, I don't know if you're in class and you watched the video. All right, that's fine. So this is the correct Python code. And over here, you can see how the AND logical operator was used. Over here, you can see how it was used. And you can also see what condition 1 is. So I'm going to create condition 1 here for you to see. Highlight condition 1. This is condition 1. And this is condition 2. You have to evaluate both of them. So what is the result of condition 1? After you evaluate it yourself, is it true or false? Keep it in mind. Then condition 2 is this. Is citizen equal to true? Keep it in your mind. Now, before we can agree that both of them, and what we are learning today is compound condition, we are going to agree that both of them together should produce one result. Now, both of them, what result are they going to produce together as a compound condition? Both of them, are they going to produce true or false? Both of them together, are they going to produce true or false? All right, so I'm getting a lot of false. I've gotten one true. And now I don't know which is which. And so I'm going to call one person again to tell us and explain to us why both of them, after putting their results together, are they going to give us true or false? So I'm going to get one person to explain that. So if you understand it, please raise your hand. And remember, we are talking about the AND logical operator. Remember the truth table we discussed, and the AND operator operates with the truth table we just looked at. So raise your hand and let me know if the resulting answer should be true or false. What should it be? So I'm going to call one person. Let me see who hasn't spoken in class before. Okay, so I think Selena spoke last week. I don't know. Selena, please try unmuting and let's see if you can unmute. If you can unmute, tell us what the compound condition is going to be, true or false.
Okay, hello, my name is
And tell us
Selena.
where you are from. Yes.
Okay, my name is Selena. I'm from Kenya.
Kenya. Okay.
So the answer is, the first part is false and the second part is true. So false and true is false.
Wonderful.
That's the logical
Wonderful.
table.
Wonderful. All right. So Selena understands it. Let's put our hands together for Selena. You've done well. Let's put our hands together. Anyone who contributes and is correct, we need to celebrate the person. So let's put our hands together for Selena. Okay, so Selena got it right. So the compound condition becomes false. All right. All right. Okay, so this is what is going to happen. It says you are eligible to vote. This code block is not going to be executed like we explained because it is under the if. It's not going to be executed. And so what is going to be executed is the else. you are not eligible to vote. Because the compound condition here evaluates to false. The compound condition here evaluates to false. And so this is not going to be executed. This would have been executed if the compound condition were to be true. But because it's false, it is an else that is going to be executed. The else executes when the if is false, or when there is an elif and the elif is also false. All right, so this is what is going to happen right now. And if we should test this code right now, let's go to PyCharm and quickly test it. And I'll show you a better way to write this code. So let's say we have age is greater than or equal to, let me just modify this. And citizenship equals to true. Over here, we can say, or citizen, we can say citizen equals to true, and the code is right, okay? But you can also do without this, and it's also right. Let's test it and see. And it says that you are not eligible to vote. Okay, so what is going on? Why are you not eligible to vote? Because when the two conditions were tested, they both evaluated to false. And so this code is not going to be executed. It is an else that is going to be executed. All right. Again, there's no need writing this is equal to true. You can just say citizen. And because citizen is true, in Python, if something is true and you just write the variable, it means it is true. So if you run this, it's going to be the same. All right. However, if this were to be false, when you write this, it means you are saying that this is true. So you have to indicate the false like this. All right. Or we can say not citizen. All right. We'll look at the not when we get to not. So you are not eligible to vote because everything here evaluates to false. Everything here evaluates to false. So this is not going to work. All right, so let's see what happens if the person is 18 and the person is a citizen. So this time when we run this code, it says, okay, so it's giving us you are not eligible to vote again because this one said it should be false. That meant that this was true and this one was false. Now that both of them are true, let's run this and it says you are now eligible to vote. What does it mean? We are just testing two conditions. This is one condition. This alone is one condition. As a beginner, you can also write it like this and evaluate it. Now, citizenship is true. Is it the same as what we have here? Yes, it is the same, so it is true. And this is also true because it also agrees with what we have here. So this becomes true. When you run it, you are now eligible to vote. All right, now let's look at the OR logical operator, and the OR is an interesting operator. The OR says that for me, I don't want both. You see, and means both. OR means at least one. All right, so in English, even if you say OR in English, it means that one or the other. So this one says that the OR operator combines two conditions and the resulting compound condition becomes true if at least one of the individual conditions is true. So we have condition 1 or condition 2. If one of them is true, then the resulting condition is true. So for example, if at a bank, you place a mandate at a bank and you say that either to sign Do we have a mandate like that? Those who understand banking a little, do we have either to sign as a mandate? Can that be said as a mandate at the bank? Anybody? I don't know if that mandate is correct. Can that be used at the bank, either to sign? Okay, so we have yes. And then we also have both to sign. All right, so the both to sign means if both of them do not sign, then it's not true, or we are not going to accept it. But this time we have confirmed that we have another mandate for either to sign. That is how the or works. So the or is saying that if the left one is true, or the right one is true, what is going to be the answer? If you look at the logic table, it says that either one of them can make it true. So Cynthia says true, Kwame says true, Valentine says true. Let's see, the result is true. And in Python, we don't write the or in uppercase. So let me correct my code here. It's written in lowercase. It's written in lowercase. All right. Now let's try the second one. If one is true and the other is false, what is the final answer? Is it true or false? What do you think? Okay, Frida says it's true. Who else? Conrad says it's true. Who else? In Python, if you want to write true, the T should be an uppercase. So let me see the next person. Nigel says it's true. Thank you, Nigel. And next person, Mike, says it's true. All right, so let's see, and it's true. All right, now the first one is false, second one is true. What is going to be the answer? What do you think? Okay, Letitia says it's true. Mike says it's true. Valentine says it's true. All right. Now, both of them are saying false. So what is the final answer? All right, so if both of them says false, then the final answer is false. This is all you should understand about the or logical operator. Either of them makes it true. So let's try one example. Here we are testing for membership to give a discount. And let's say this is a supermarket and they want to give a discount, and this supermarket has certain conditions. They are saying that you either have a membership card or you purchase up to a certain amount. So here we have someone who has a membership and the membership is true. All right, let's use true. Let's use true over here. All right, so let's test this again. So membership is true, and then purchase amount is 120. Now let's see what the supermarket is saying. The supermarket is saying that for you to get a discount, you are either a member or you purchase more than $100. So over here, we have confirmed that this person is a member. We have confirmed that this person is a member. We have confirmed that this person is a member. Sorry. This person is a member and this person purchased 120. All right. So now it says that if the person is a member or the person purchased higher than 120 or higher than 100, the person is eligible for a discount. All right. Else the person is not eligible for a discount. Now, when we run this code, is the person eligible for a discount or not? What do you think? Yes or no? If it is yes, let me see yes. If it is no, let me see no. So Frida says yes. All right, I've gotten a lot of yes, that's true. All right, so let me go to PyCharm and let's try this quickly. So here we have its member, and its member is true, and purchase amount is also equal to 120. And we are saying that if the person is a member or purchase amount is greater than or equal to 100, then print, yes, you are eligible for a discount. Else print, no, you are not eligible for a discount. All right, so when we run this, we can see that yes, the person is eligible for a discount because the person meets both of the conditions. All right, now let's make the person not a member. So membership is false. Will this person still get a discount? What do you think? Yes or no? Let me see in the chat. Membership is false. Will the person get a discount? Yes or no? Kwame says yes. Frida says no. Mike says yes. Peter says yes. Conrad says true. Paulo says yes. And I think I should call one person to explain why this person will get a discount. Let me call one person. So if you think this person will still get a discount, the person doesn't have a membership card, but the person will still get a discount. If you understand it, please raise your hand and let me call you. I'll be happy to get those who have not spoken yet. So I think I have Zeth. Let me call Zeth already. So Zeth, kindly unmute and tell us why this person will get a discount or if this person will not get a discount. All right, so Zeth, if you can unmute.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Darlington.
Okay.
I think this person is going to get a discount because when we look at our logic table that was presented a few minutes ago,
Yeah.
true and false will give us true. And from if we see is a member, this person is not a member, but for the other variable, purchase amount equal to 120, we see that the purchase amount is greater than or equal to 100. So we have a true or false statement, which is equal to true from our logic table. So this person, so it is true for this person. So yes, the person is going to be eligible for a discount.
Wonderful. Let's clap for Zeth. Zeth, where are you from? I think last week you said you're from South Africa. Is that true? Or where?
No. Zed is from
Zimbabwe?
Cameroon.
Cameroon. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So Zeth is absolutely right. Python agrees with Zeth. And the answer is yes, you are eligible for a discount. So thank you so much for that. And that is so true. That is so true. That is so true. All right. So remember, we are not using the AND operator. We are using the OR operator. So with the OR, each one of them needs to be true or false. Again, in Python, it is okay to write this. If you say is member, it is the same as saying is member is equal to true. So as a beginner, you don't have to write this. Just saying is member, it's okay. It means the same thing. All right. So here we are saying its member is true and it's going to be evaluated to false because its member is not true. But then this code is still going to work because the other condition satisfies it. The other condition is true because purchase amount should be greater than or equal to 100. And this customer purchased 120. So this is true. And this is what makes it false. Now, in this whole lesson, what are we looking at? What we are looking at is this. We are looking at a situation where you have to make a compound, create a compound condition. In our previous lesson, we studied how to make single decisions. Let's say you are not married, you make your decisions alone. That is okay, okay. Sometimes it's true, but sometimes your program is more intelligent that it needs to make compound decisions before, at the end of the day, we decide whether it is true or not. And to make a compound decision, you need to make use of a logical operator. To test condition one, either and or not, or and or, we don't use a not for multiple. So and or to test two conditions, and then you understand their truth tables, how they work. If you understand how they work, then you will know whether the compound condition evaluates to true or false. Someone says, kindly explain on why you have used false in the first line and what it means in reference to its member. All right. So over here, we are saying that its member equals to true. This is a statement, okay? It doesn't mean whether it is true or not. Let me clear this. If I say its member equals to true, it is my statement. What is going to happen is that Python is going to evaluate my statement or my condition and check whether what I said is true or false. The fact that I said its member is true doesn't make it true, because as a matter of fact, its member is false. All right. So when I run this, I'm going to get no, you are not. Okay. What this means is this. In Python, you can say that A is equal to 5, and you can say that B is equal to 12. But when you are creating a condition, you can say that if A is greater than B, then do something. Now, the fact that I have created a condition here or an expression, this is called an expression, does not mean that it is true or it's false. Python is now going to evaluate it, and after evaluating it, it is going to decide whether it is true or false based on their real values. Maybe the values are going to be inputted by the user of the program. So the developer cannot tell whether it is true or false. But the developer can write code to say that if A is greater than B, then do something, because I have no idea whether A is going to be greater than B. But my code has an intelligence in it or a logic in it to do something if A is greater than B. All right. In this case, is A greater than B? Yes or no? What do you think? Is A greater than B? All right. So you said no. So when I run this, you can see that the answer is no. A is not greater than B. So what I said to answer your question is that whatever I put in my condition has nothing to do with the real values of those variables. What I have put here is just testing a condition to find out if it is true or false, because this program that I'm writing as a Python developer may depend on inputs from users. It may depend on input from users. And the input, I have no idea. But what I can do is to write my program to do something if the condition meets my criteria. What if the input changes? What if this becomes 50 and this is 12? Suddenly, when you run this, you are going to get yes. So this is my instruction here, and I may not have control over the values of the variables used in that particular logical instruction. Okay, so all that you need to do is to understand the principle over here. And so the original state of member was false, but I said, if it is true, then do this for me. It doesn't mean it is true or it is false. It will check it and decide whether it is true or it is false. All right, thank you, Benjamin. Okay, so let's continue from there. We have one more logical operator to look at and understand. So let me share and we will look at that as well. All right, so we have what is called a not logical operator. Please put this in the chat for me. Not logical operator. For this not logical operator, you are not going to be using it much right now, but later you will be using it. And so just understand that it also exists. Most of the time you are going to be using the and the or. All right, so let's look at the not logical operator. this logical operator is a unary operator. Please type unary operator in the chat for me. Unary operator. Type unary operator. All right. So in computer programming, we have what is called unary operator. We also have what is called binary operator. And we also have what is called ternary operator. And this is simply talking about mathematics and operators and operations. We've talked a lot about operators already, and we know the arithmetic operators. And most of the time, when we use the arithmetic operators, we use them in what is called a binary operation, okay? We use them in what is called a binary operation. So in Python programming, you do a binary operation when you have two operands. So let's say we have A equals to 5 and B equals to 7. I can say C, or let's say, okay, C equals to A plus B. Let me remove the C right now to explain what is meant by binary operation. So in mathematics, you can do this, and this is okay in mathematics because you are talking about this operator here. This is the operator. The operator is the addition operator. This one here is called an operand, and this is called the operator. So how many operands do you see here? How many operands do you see? How many operands do you see? You see two operands, and you see one operator. So this type of operation is referred to as a binary operation. And this operator is referred to as a binary operator. All right. Let me try another mathematical operation. Let's say we have negative b. This negative b, this is an operator, this is an operand. Sometimes in mathematics, we write negative something, right? Now, this particular time, how many operands do you see? How many operands do you see? Okay, so we see one operand. Okay, one. So in mathematics, we can say that this is a unary operation because we have a single operand. So whenever you are performing an operation on a single operand, we call it a unary operation, and we call the operator a unary operator. All right, so this is just to explain the concept of unary, binary. Later, we'll talk about ternary operators. So when we say that the NOT is a unary operator, this means that it is used, let me read this first, it says that it is used to reverse the logical state of its operand. If the operand is true, applying NOT will make it false, and if the operand is false, applying NOT will make it true. All right, so the first thing to take from this is that this is a unary operator. This means that we don't use the NOT in a binary operation. What is a binary operation? So the operations we've been doing previously, because when you call the OR, you call the OR for two operations. So here, this is considered as a binary operator because it can work on two operands. All right, so most of the time, the NOT is used on one operand. So for example, with a NOT, you are not going to have two conditions, and then the NOT is going to be between it. The NOT is placed before the condition. That is why it is called a unary operator. Now, this is how the NOT works. It's very simple. And let me change it to lowercase because in Python, we type it in lowercase. All right. The NOT, you can take it as a negator. So not true equals to, what do you think? Not true equals to, if it's not true, then it is, okay, so Rachel says false. That's correct. And not false equals to true. All right, so this all we are saying. What we are saying is this: anytime we use a not, the condition that we are going to operate on, if the result of the condition is true, because of the not, we are going to evaluate it to false. And if the condition is false, because of the not, we are going to evaluate it to true. In computer electronics, this is done sometimes to allow currents to flow, to create negative and positive, to allow currents to flow. And in computer science, we use true and false or binary, 1 and 0, to handle several complex operations. And so sometimes you may have to use a not to negate a value. So this will happen sometimes. So let's say it is raining and raining is true. So if it is not raining, what will be the value of raining now? Raining is true. If it's not raining, then it's false. It's as simple as that, all right? Then it is false, okay? If it's not raining, then it is false. Else, it is true. So with this one, it is very, very simple. We use it to negate a value. So if raining is false, once you write not, it becomes true. So what you need to understand is how to use it. With this operator, we use it before the operation or before the condition. We don't use it in between two conditions. This is how we use it. Even if it will be between two conditions, it has to be applied before the second condition. Before the second condition. All right, I'll give you an example to see. All right, so this is how we apply the logical operators to make compound decisions. Before we looked at the logical operators, we were making decisions based on a single Boolean expression, whether it is true or false. But sometimes you will have to consider multiple Boolean expressions before you make your decision whether it is true or false, because in the real world, sometimes decisions are complex. Decisions are complex, all right? Decisions are complex. For example, you would have to be 18 and you have to be a citizen before you qualify for voting. In that situation, the condition is not based on one expression or one condition. You don't have to be either one of them. You have to be both of them before it will work. So sometimes before intelligent decisions can be made, we need to check two things before we make a decision. This is why we need to know how to use the AND operator, the OR operator, and sometimes the NOT operator. Other times, we also have what we call nesting conditionals. Nesting conditionals. Nesting conditionals. Please type nesting in the chat for me. Nesting. And I'm going to explain what it is. Nesting. So sometimes we nest conditions. Now, when we say nest, it is very simple. It simply means a condition that lives within a condition. A condition that lives within a condition. Now, in Python, nesting conditionals involve placing one condition or more conditional statements inside another. Anytime you hear nest, it means that the other condition completely depends on the first condition, or the other condition lives within the first condition. So I'm going to explain with an example and you see how it works. Now, when you want to nest a condition, we usually have an outer condition, and we have an outer condition, and if the outer condition is true, then the inner condition will be evaluated. So this is what we call nesting. This is one condition, but this condition lives within the outer condition. If the outer condition is false, we are not going to even test the inner condition. We are going to move straight to the else and make it false. Let's try with an example. Here we want to check for age and permission for access. So here we have age equals to 15 and permission is true. Age is 15, permission is true. Right. Now let's look at this code over here. This code is saying, look at this, it's saying that if age is greater than or equals to 18, that is the outer condition. So what this means is that, what this means is that this is going to be evaluated first. If this is true, then we will move on to look at the inner condition, because the inner condition is nested within the outer condition. However, if the outer condition is false, the inner condition will not be evaluated. The program is going to skip to the else and say that access denied, you must be 18 years old. All right. When you look at this code, we want to check if someone is 18 and above to be given permission. Now, if 18 and above is true, then we are now going to check if the person has permission or not. Let's write this program in PyCharm and see how it works. So let's say we have age, and age is 17, and permission is written as has permission. So has permission is equal to true. And the outer condition says that if age is greater than or equal to 18, then execute this. If has permission, then print you have access. You have access. Else, let's print access denied, permission required. So access denied, permission required. Then we are going to have another else. And this else is going to say access denied, you must be 18 years, at least 18 years old. So let's print access denied. You must be at least 18 years old. All right, so what is this saying? Here we have a simple if and else over here. You can see that they are all on one line. Now, let me just place number 1, and then number 2, and then number 3 over here. If I run this code, am I going to get 1, 2, or 3? Please put your answer in the chat for me. If I run this code, am I going to get 1, 2, or 3? 1, 2, or 3. Let me see in the chat. Okay, so we have the first person saying we are going to get, okay. Just put 1, 2, or 3, so I can see a lot of 3s. So when we run this, we are going to get 3. Access denied, you must be 18 years old. Now, what is happening here is that the code here, 1 and 2, will not even be considered because the first condition was false. Because the first condition is false, the program is going to jump to the else and is going to print this result. But if the first condition is true, then the inner condition will now be considered. What this means is that the inner condition will not even be considered if the outer condition is false. Now let's change the person's age to 20 and make permission to be false. If I run this right now, are we going to get 1, 2, or 3? What do you think? 1, 2, or 3? All right, so I'm getting a lot of 2s, a lot of 2s. All right, let's run this and see if we get 2. All right, so we got 2. Okay, so at this time, I want someone to explain what is going on. What we are looking at today, let me place a comment up here, is that we are looking at nesting conditionals, okay? Now, to nest simply means you have a whole condition living within another condition. What it means is that the inner condition will only be executed if the outer condition is true. If the outer condition is not true, the program is not even going to consider the inner condition. But if the outer condition is true, it will consider the inner condition and then make its own decision whether the inner condition is true or the inner condition is false. So I want someone who can explain what is happening now. Just explain. This may be my last caller. So please explain what is going on. You can just raise your hand. I'm going to call you. Just tell us what is going on right now. And I'm going to allow you. All right. So let me allow Priscilla. Please raise your hand again. Okay. Raise your hand again if you want to contribute. So please tell us what is going on. Just try unmuting and let's see what happens. So the age is 20, permission is false. Tell us which is going to be executed, 1, 2, or 3. Priscilla says I cannot unmute. Oh, Priscilla, you should be able to unmute. Okay. You may have to rejoin. Anyone else? Who else can explain? While we wait for Priscilla, I can see a new name. So Evans, if you understand it, please explain what is going on and let's see what the answer is going to be.
Okay. So our age is set to 20 and his
Okay.
permission is set to false. So the first condition checks if the age is greater than or equal to 18. 20 is greater than or equal to 18. This is true. So it goes inside the code below the first if statement. It checks to see if his permission. So if his permission is false, so it will skip the print and goes to the else, and then it executes the second the else access denied, permission required.
All right. So thank you so much. Let's put our hands together for Evans. Thank you, Evans. All right. So Evans, tell us what is going to happen if we give this person permission to be true. So if the permission is true now, what's going to happen and why?
Okay, so the first if statement is still going to execute because the age is greater than 18. So and then goes to the next if statement. So now if his permission is now true, it now prints you have access.
All right. So when we run this now, you have access. Thank you so much, Evans. Well done, well done, well done. All right. So this is called nesting of conditionals. And this happens This happens when we want to verify an outer condition before we even consider an inner condition. Let's say there is a condition to be tested on Africans. Let me just say something very, very good. Is going to be given to Africans, and we have an outer condition that says that, are you an African? If the answer is no, what it means is that you are not even part of the second condition because you are not an African. All right, because you have to pass the first one before you are qualified for the second. All right, before you are qualified for the second. Let's say we are giving visas to tech professionals, and we have an outer condition that is asking if you are a tech professional. If your answer is no, you are not even going to be considered for the second condition, for the inner condition. So this is a nesting of conditions. But if your first answer is yes, then you are qualified to be tested for the second condition. All right. So this is what it means. You need to pass the outer condition before you are going to be tested for the second if condition. All right, that is fine. Let's move on to a few tests, and we will, let me share this rather. Okay. All right. So we are going to do a simple exercise, and we are going to, first of all, get into our groups, and we'll start with a short break so that we will just relax a little, stretch a little. After the break, then we'll have 15 minutes of group work. And this time, if you don't have a group, we are going to assign a group to you. And so you are going to join your group and you are going to solve this. So someone can take a screenshot and put it in the chat. And what you are going to do together in your group, and what this means is that the group leaders can also create a link. We will use 10 minutes for break and then 15 minutes to solve this. Afterwards, you will show us how creatively you were able to solve this as a group. So it says that create a Python script that uses the AND and OR logical operators to determine access to different events based on your age, membership status, and invitation status. Now, define variables. Age is member, has invitation. Now, age should be the person's age, should be an integer. And we are telling you it should be an integer because you are supposed to request for the age and make it an integer. And then its member should store a Boolean value indicating if the person is a member or not. Has invitation should also store a Boolean value indicating if the person has an invitation or not. Then you move to number 2. It says that use logical operators and or to determine the different events. Now, if the person is a member and is at least 18 years old, print access to members events. If the person has an invitation or is at least 21 years old, print access to VIP events. And 3, if the person is a member and has an invitation, access to exclusive events. If the person is neither a member nor has an invitation, print access to general events. So you are going to be given an event based on your membership and your invitation status. In the end, you have to print the event access message based on the criteria provided. So please think about this as a group. No AI is allowed. Just brainstorm and solve this. I want to see your code and I want to see you working. I know how AI will write the code and I know how you will also write the code as a group. So please do this. Just apply what we have studied today. And if you're watching this video, please watch the previous lesson and this lesson and try the examples and try and understand how to write intelligent programs using conditionals. We started by looking at single conditions, and today we've learned how to use multiple conditions using the AND and the OR logical operator. Solve this and it will help you understand better. So Eric, you should join group 3. Paulo, please join group 4. If you don't have a group, let me know. Please join group 4. And group leaders, please create the links and please share in the chat. After the break, we will all join and solve this for 15 minutes. So Kwame, please join group 5. Ernest, please join group 2. Ernest, please join group 2. Conrad, please join group 1. Romero, please join group 2. Paulo, okay, I've already given you. So group leaders, please share the links. Group 1 has a link. So when you see your group, you join, okay? All right, so Portia, please join group 3. Portia, please join group 3. Portia, please join group 3. So solve this together. Please, no AI is allowed. Just solve it and I'll see. All right, so group 4 has been shared. If you're part of group 4, you join this link and then you have your meeting, solve this question, and we'll be back after we are done. All right. All right, so Katongole, please join group 2. Katongole, please join group 2. The links will be shared. Once you see the link, group 5 link has been shared. So please click on it and work together as a group, brainstorm and solve this together. All right, so I'm going to see you after the short break. All the best and good luck in your exercise. All right, group 2 has been shared. Please join. All right, so welcome back from the short break. If group 1 is done, please post done in the chat. Let's see if you are done. 1, if you are done, just post done. And we need someone to present for group 1. So whoever is going to present for group 1, let's see by hand. If group 2 is done, please post done in the chat. Let's see those of you who are done, you're able to solve it yourselves. So let's see, okay. So we have from group, Valentine from group what? Group 1, Frida will be presenting, okay. So Frida, just raise your hand. I'm going to allow you to present, okay. Just raise your hand, Frida. And you will present for group 1. All right, so I'm going to allow Frida. So Frida, when I allow you, please share your screen. Share your screen and let's see your work. Okay, so please share your screen. Let's see what you've done. I can't wait to see what you've done together. Okay. Okay. So group 1, age, input your age. Okay, so please tell us your code. Go through the code with us.
Okay, so this is a group 1 exercise.
Okay.
And it's a script that uses a logical operator to determine the access to events.
Okay.
So we started by defining our variables. So age, we expect the the member or the people to enter their age, then we took true, like everybody should be a member, like its member, we chose true. And if you have an invitation to, it's true. So when we moved to the logical conditional, we said if its member and the age is greater or equal to 18, then it should print access to members event. And also if, say please.
Yeah, I can see it. Let's go.
Okay. And also if member or age is greater or equal to 21, it should print access to VIP event. And if you are a member and you have an invitation, then access to exclusive events, else access to general events. So if you don't fall into all this criteria, then access to general events.
All right, please test it for us and let's see. And the other groups, if you are done, let me know in the chat. Please test it and let's see.
So input age, let me say 19.
Okay.
Access to members event.
Okay. All right, so this is 19 and access to members events. Okay. So tests for VIP and let's see.
I realized something about the question that you know, the greater than or equal to 18 and greater than or equal to the 21 seems to be closer to each other.
All right, so the question says, if the person has an invitation or is at least 21 years old. Okay. So can't you manipulate the variables to give us VIP?
And then maybe we have to
go to your value, you can just tweak your value, maybe put false for his member, or it's because you are using the or operator, that's why.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's fine. Okay, so that's okay. At least I can see that you did this on your own. You were able to look at the question and you were able to solve it like this. And you have done well. If member and age greater than or equal to. All right, that is fine. Okay, so please, if member and has an invitation. Okay, so, all right, it's okay. Let me see group 4. Group 4, let me see your work. So group 4, who is presenting? Just raise your hand and let me see. Group 4, let's see who is presenting. All right, so Brighton is presenting for group 4. So Brighton, go ahead and share your screen and let's see what you have. Okay, so just share your screen, Brighton.
Okay, confirm if my screen is visible.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, so this was the question, and I think everyone else has got the question, so I'll just maximize the view of the code. So this is our code, and we simply took the statements as it were. So we used the if statement. Sorry, don't mind this comment here. There was an alternative approach that we had used. So we like this approach since the code was simple to interpret in this way. And I think I would just have to explain on the last part of the code here, whereby we used these operators to specify the condition that we needed to print the access to general event statement.
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
So, that was the explanation, said Darlington.
All right, so run it and let's see.
Okay. So here's the system, the code. Okay, so it's expecting us to enter the edge here. We prompted the user to enter the edge. Let's say the edge is 23, and press enter. So our code here prints the statement access to VIP event, access to exclusive event for the specific edge of 23.
All right, so with the kind of code you've written, we are going to see it's going to print multiple results, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this means that if the person has access to members events, it is going to print. If the person has access to VIP, it's also going to print.
It's also going to print, yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's how you understood the question, so it's okay. So test for the last condition. If the person is neither a member nor has an invitation, access to general events. Let me see how you test for that.
Okay. If the person is neither a member nor has an invitation. Okay. If the person is neither a member, is access to general. Okay. I think I'm a bit stuck. Tim, may you kindly help here?
So you can just manipulate the variables and let's see if it will print that as well.
Okay.
Okay, so run it and let's see.
Sorry.
Okay, so please set them back to true and try and use a not, and let's see if it will work. Okay, so this question said you should stick to and or. That's okay. So what you've done is correct. Send them back to true and try and see the not, use the not, and let's see if it will work.
Okay.
Remove equals to false. And have not has invitation, and let's see the results. All right, so run it and let's see if, let's see what it will show.
Okay.
Okay, so what did you get?
I got the same two statements that I got initially. So
All
if
right.
do you want me to manipulate the values as well to see if the
All right.
values
So
are
manipulate them and let's see.
okay. Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
So over here, although he used a not in a compound condition, you realize that he placed a not for each condition. So the not is still working as a unary operator. Yes, and he's using and. So please change it to or and let's see what will happen. Change it to or and let's see what will happen. And set them back to true. Set them back to true and let's see. All right, so the other groups, let me see what you have. Any of the other groups ready? Lois, is your group ready? Okay, so Lois will bombard us with code. Okay. All right, so Lois, are you ready? How about Timothy, group 3, are you ready? Okay, so we only have group 1. Timothy is almost ready. That's group 3, so group 2, who is presenting for group 2? Who's presenting for group 2? Okay, so group 6 is ready. So Luis, who is presenting for group 6, just raise your hand and I'm going to call you. Okay, group 5, Peter is presenting. So just raise your hand. I'm going to call you. So Luis, just share your screen and let's see what you've done. Please share your screen. Luis, please share your screen and let's see.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Please, can you see my screen, sir?
Okay, still loading. All right, I can see your screen now, Luis.
Okay, sir. So this is our code.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first question was to define the variables, which we did. The age, the int input, enter your age, and then the is member, and then we used this are you a member, enter yes or no, and we did the same thing for has invitation. Then we also used this dot lower to check if the person is also a member.
Right. So please, what group is this? Is it group?
This is group 6.
Group
please.
6. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you are using methods that we've not studied yet. That is fine. Please run your code and let's see how it works, Luis.
Okay, sir.
And I'm going to ask a question that all of you will have to answer. And then if you get it right, then you'll get your marks. So enter your age.
Okay, so
when we try for the first one, if the age is greater than or equals to 18.
Okay.
18. Are you a member? Yes. And
All right. So this is where my question will come. Okay. Most of the time, when we get a program that you have to answer yes or no, sometimes you are asked to input Y or N, and Y will mean yes and N will mean no. So after you test this, I want your group members to add some more code to it right now for all of us to see. If the person wants yes, the person should be able to type yes or Y. If the person wants no, the person should be able to type no or N. So let's see how you do that. So go ahead and test this and let's see.
okay.
Okay.
So it gives access to members' events.
All right, that's correct. Okay, so just test for another and let me see.
Hello, sir.
All right, it's okay. So just do what I said and let's see how you go about it.
Sir.
Instead of yes or no, just find a way to input Y for yes or yes for yes, or input no for no or N for no. So just do that in your code. All your members can contribute and let's see how you solve it. So let's see your code and work in your code area.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, sir. So Uche, Priscilla, please come on board.
So let's see how you solve it. Okay, so work together, work together, work together. So let me just allow those who want to speak and you just work together and solve it.
Hello.
Yeah, so Lois.
Hello, Luis.
Luis, yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay, so basically what we need to do would be to use a list instead of yes. So we say if his member is in, so instead of having equal to, we have if
All right, so listen, we don't want to use what we've not studied. So use the logical operators to accept yes or Y or no or N.
okay,
Yeah.
no worries. So so we use if is equal to yes, then is member hang on a moment. Let's put a bracket in, let's bracket off is member and yes, where we have equal to.
Okay, here.
Yes. Okay, bracket it off at the the quotation mark, please.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, then space. Then we use an or statement. Would repeat basically the same thing, but we'll have equal to y instead.
Okay, in brackets.
Yes.
Is this okay, please?
No, when we say Y, we mean Y, the letter Y, and it should not be
Oh,
in the
okay.
bracket. We're
Sorry.
It's
repeating
not
the
saying
same
why,
thing that
just why.
we're
So please,
repeating the same thing that we have after the if statement. So you can do a copy and paste instead of, yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Let's take out one of the brackets, please. Is underscore member. That's why that is underscore member. That's the variable. Then
and your
Y
Y
should be
is your Y.
in
Is it a
quotation.
string?
Hello, Luis. Luis, are you still there?
Okay, so Luis, can you make the Y a string and test it and let's see?
I think she may have lost connection.
Okay. Luis. All right. Okay, so when you get your connection back, we just want to see if it will work. And also we want to see if it will also work without a parenthesis, okay? All right, so we have group 3. So group 3, who is presenting? Just raise your hand. I can see Romero. Romero is presenting for which group? And then Rachel is presenting for which group? Please put that in the chat for me. So Romero for group 2. Okay, so Romero, please share your screen and go ahead. After that, then Rachel will present. Yes. Okay. Rachel for group 3.
Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. I'm presenting for group 2
All
on
right.
behalf of my group leader, Josephine.
All right.
She's having some issues with devices and she will not be able to present.
All right. So
just
the group leader
looking at
is
the
not
previous.
responsible for the presenting. Any group member
Right.
can do the presentation. Okay.
All right.
All right.
I think a lot of us, I would say this is still our first time. So just judging by the presentations that came before us, I can see that we have a lot to learn and some ground to cover. But this is what we've been able to come up with so far. So we're able to declare our variables. So we have age. Yeah, we're able to make it in such a way that the user will get the prompt and then the user will input the age. And its member is a Boolean according to the question. So here we declare the Boolean as true. As invitation goes to true. And this is our first conditional statement. If its member, which was already declared true, and age greater than or equal to 18, and age also less than 21, then we say print access to members events. Elif has invitation or age greater than or equal to 21, then it will print access to VIP events, or else its member and has invitation, it will print access to exclusive events.
All right, so please
So,
just test it and
yeah.
let's see.
All right, so let me use 20, which is greater than or equal to 21 here. So it says access to VIP events and then access to exclusive events.
Okay.
Yeah. Then
Okay.
let me run for less than age 18. So maybe 17, yeah. So this is what we're trying to solve, because we realized that it was giving access to people under 18 and those above 18. So that's what we're still trying to figure out before we run out of.
All right, so please try and still solve it and send it to assignments@reachafrica.com. And once you get it right, you'll get your full marks, okay? But well done.
Right.
Because of time, let's take the last group. So Rachel, just quickly share. Let's just see your code and I'll award your marks to you. So just share your screen, Rachel. Okay.
All right, so good evening.
Yes, good evening, Rachel.
Yeah, so my name is actually Rachel. I pronounce it as
Rachel. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I'm presenting from Ghana
Okay.
on behalf of Group 3.
Group 3. Okay.
Yes, please.
That's wonderful.
Yes, so please, we listed our variables and we have an age, so we'll have to enter the age.
Okay.
And then we determine whether that is a member or the person has an invitation.
Okay.
And then we give the conditions, whether the person is a member and the age is above 18 or equal to 18 years.
Okay.
Or else if the person has an invitation and is greater than 21 years, all of them, the conditions, we listed them. And so assuming I run this and I input an age, say 23.
Okay.
Okay, let me just rerun this. $21. Oh. I don't know why it's not coming.
Are you pressing enter? After the 21, do you press enter?
Yes. Now we have.
Okay. All right.
I had
Just
an
working.
issue with my battery. Yes.
All right. That is fine. Please send your final codes to assignment@reachafrica.com. We will evaluate it well and give you your respective marks. And all that I want to say is that we are progressing in our knowledge in Python. So at every level we get to, or where we are right now, if you are finding any challenge in understanding it, I know some of you are very, very new. Please take your time, go back to the previous lesson on day 4 and review that and try and solve the questions. By the time you solve those exercises, you should get the understanding. Because right after here, we are going to move on to the next level as well. So try and get the understanding, practice with the exercises, and make sure you can solve them on your own, all right? So this is what will make you understand the language. And as we move on, little by little, we're building upon that. So I want you to go over and understand it. If there's any part that is still difficult for you, send an email to support@reachafrica.com and let's see how we can address that and help you to also get the right understanding. All right, so at this point, I think, okay, so let this be sent by the group leaders. So group 1, or anyone can send on behalf of the group. Just title it group 1, group exercise, and then you give so and so. And we've also given you another homework that you will use to solidify your understanding in this particular concept. So someone can share this in the chat. So solve this on your own, and this you submit individually. Yes. So capture this and put it in the chat, and please solve this on your own, and let's see how you go about it. And if you're able to solve this alone, it will help you better understand this. So please capture this and put it in the chat. I don't know who can do that. And let's solve this. So tomorrow by 6 p.m., this is going to expire. So make sure you submit before that time. The email is assignments@retailafrica.com. And I can see that most of you are doing well with your assignments. So please keep up doing the great work, and let's see all that you do. As we progress, you are going to get a deeper understanding. Make sure you understand this at every level. If it is difficult, watch the video again and try and understand it. All right, so for what we are learning, for some people, that is very, very basic. And for some people too, this is very, very new. So just try and find your way in between and get this understanding, and let's build upon it. All right, so this is where we end our class. Sorry for taking some 40 minutes from your time. We'll end here. We'll continue tomorrow. Make sure you do your assignments and make sure you catch up if you are behind, and let's move on to the next lesson. So thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. This is where we end the class, and I will see you in the next class. All the best. If you have an issue, send an email to support@retailafrica.com. Your assignments should be sent to assignments@retailafrica.com, and you will get a response. So thank you all once again, and I'll see you in the next class. All the best. Bye-bye.